Hello and welcome back, another video, radio based at the moment. Right, a bit different this one. Do you remember the Superstar 6900N, the one that Gary was ever so kind to send me? And yeah, that's the second radio you sent me. Good old Gary, he's a good old boy. And yeah, we went on the air and we did some testing with that with Tango Mike 061 Dave. Worked brilliantly on FM. Lovely receive on it, really good radio report on FM. And then unfortunately, when we shot up to upper sideband, things didn't quite go as expected. And I didn't show you that on the first video because it was more of a review on the 6900N. So, well, I'll tell you what, I won't tell you what happened. I'll show you. So I'll link in a video now and you can hear what happened. Thanks ever so much. Shall we just swing it up to the 305 then, and I can just give it a test on upper sideband. Back to you.
Yeah, will do. Going there now, mate.
Right, so just remember. Tango Mike 061. This is Charlie Tango 1664 copy.
Sorry, you're having a right squeal come over with you that time, Fred. Sorry, just give us some numbers, mate.
Yeah, that's a Rog, Dave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I call a fish alive.
Sounds dreadful, Fred. I don't know what's happened there, but that's all squealing and right off frequency, mate.
So, as you heard, what was happening when I was attaching the KPO power microphone on the 6900, all Dave was getting was a squealing. Basically, it was over modulating. The mic gain was too high, and we turned it down on the radio. But the problem we had with that was when we turned the mic sort of gain down below 10 on the radio, it then wasn't sufficient to drive the radio at full power, and my signal at Dave's end was dropping right back. So wasn't particularly satisfactory. Now I was going to, take the easy option because I know that it'd help me out, and I was going to sort of pack this up and ship it back to Gary with the KPO microphone and just see if he could adjust it, because in fairness, he only had the standard microphone, and I did test it with the standard mic and it worked reasonably well, okay, but I really want to use the KPO power mic on sideband. So I couldn't ship it. I know he would do it. He's a good lad, and I know he would sort of sort it out. So I was waiting to discuss this with Gary before I shared this with you, and I have since been in contact with Gary, and it turns out there is 2 little screws inside the radio where you can internally adjust the AM modulation, and then the like a clarify control, if you like, on the sideband. And I'll just link in Gary's video now. Now I do apologise, last time I done Gary's video it came out really weird. Gary's fingers all kind of went a bit alien. It looked terrible. I don't know why it does that. It's when I transfer it over to Skype, and to be honest, I could re-render it, but it would take me longer to sort the video out than it actually will to do this. So I'm going to put that one up. So I do apologise if it's all a bit out of shape, but here's Gary's video.
The actual control you want is marked SSB ENL. It's that one there. It's hard to do through and use the phone with one hand while I'm pointing with the other hand, but that's the one. Any screwdriver will do as long as it fits the slot. It's not a mic gain as such, but it should affect your audio so that it does make it sound a little bit smoother. Yeah, you could also try AM modulation, because it's part of the same SSB audio and AM audio, obviously part of the same product from the same place. I'll point that control out here as well. It's just something else to try. It might help. So yeah, let us know how you get on them with that. As I said, you'd set your AM mode up on AM, but you could reduce it a little bit, see how it goes, see if it affects your SSB audio. It could do, but that's the one to try first. And if that one doesn't work, try the AM mode, set it up on AM.
Right, before we start taking things apart and all the swearing starts, well, hopefully not, just going to try and recreate what Dave would have heard when he was listening on air. So what I've done, I've gone back to the power mic settings, which is the IC9, and I've turned it up to the default, which is 31, and that was working fine on FM. But of course he was saying that it was getting very screechy when I was on sideband. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sort of set the power level on the KPO about halfway, and I'm just going to talk into the microphone. I shall record the receive on the Grant 2 with the little digital recorder, and then I'll add it onto the video so you can sort of hear what it sort of sounds like. And I'm going to put headphones on as well, because otherwise we'll get massive feedback with the Grant 2. Right, here we go now. Right, test one, test one, test one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so we're in, I suppose, like Flynn, if you want to talk, you want to talk like that Aussie guy. The first thing that I say to anyone, who's perhaps not used to electronics, or even if you are, take some photographs before you touch anything going on inside the radio. Take some pictures as a reference, so that you've got a chance of getting everything put back the way it was if you cock it up. Anyway, you can sort of see in there the tiny little adjustment pots. They are quite small. You're going to need a very, very fine screwdriver and a steady hand. But I can see that one over there is the AM modulation. And I just need to check Gary's video, but I think I'm going to be fiddling with the that one over there as well. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is just basically just sort of try and turn down the AM modulation. I think it may have been turned up a little bit high, or it certainly is too high for that power mic. And yeah, I'm going to have a little fiddle, very careful, play around with it. I'm not going to touch anything else in that radio. Just going to play with those little tiny little pots, and they are small. So you do need a bit of a careful steady hand. So what I'm going to do is just quite simply just back this off a quarter turn at a time, really careful. Just back it off just a quarter turn, and then try the modulation, and just see if I can get the KPO mic to work, to stop sort of feeding back. So what I've done is that I've very slightly turned down the both the FM modulation there and the AM modulation. I've given about a quarter turn back, just to sort of turn down the mic gain slightly. It seems to work. So yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, I don't normally play about inside of radios, but as I say, these little pots, you know, if you're very careful with them, they as Gary said, they're quite robust. As long as you don't touch anything else and make sure you don't short anything else out, it's possible just to have a little adjustment. Not that I still wouldn't recommend it though. If you spent about 130 quid on this radio, I still would be a very cautious man to take it apart. Anyway, you can have a little more adjustment and do some, or a little more testing, and get the radios further apart.
Okay, final test. Radio is 10. Radio mic gain is 10. KPO 1/3. KPO 1/3 looks like it's slightly underdriving the radio. So we now increase the KPO to halfway. So KPO now halfway. Radio is 10. Radio is 10. KPO is now halfway.
Right, so I think I'm going to stick with that for now. It's very difficult doing your own testing. I'll need to get a proper radio check from Dave, I should think. But I've got rid of that real squeal, and it seems that the sweet spot on the radio is the mic gain on the internal radio settings around about 15, and then I can vary the KPO up to about halfway, or 1/3 seems to be sort of fairly sort of decent. But I'm really pleased that I've got rid of that squealing audio. And you know, we'll give it a go. And there you go. So I've been inside there. Fred, he's done well, hasn't he? He's been inside the radio. Give it a slight adjustment. So that's what I'll do. I'll get a radio check from Dave. So the moment of truth. It doesn't matter all of the things that I've done. We're going to get a radio check. Tango Mike 061. Dave, who knows my voice. And yeah, we're going to find out if what I've done has cured that problem. Yeah, Dave, Tango Mike 061. Sorry, I don't know your Fox Bravo's call sign. You got a copy on 1664, over?
That's good. Signal 8 to 9, radio 5, Fred. No problem at all there.
Tango 1664, calling Tango Mike 061, and I'm really hoping that I'm coming across clearer than I was last time, Dave. Over.
Sorry, I forgot to switch over to.
So did I.
Yeah, that's screeching like the clappers, and the audio is not very good at all, Fred. Sorry, mate. It's a bit of a job to understand what you're saying.
Blast. Oh, blast. Okay, Dave. So did you say the screeching is still there? Over.
Yeah, Roger on that.
Damn.
Very distorted audio, and feedback screech when you're modulating there, Fred. Sorry, mate, to break that news to you.
Bugger. So I was so hopeful. I really was. I was so hopeful that was going to work, and it didn't, basically. And I don't know, what have I learnt? Well, it worked on FM. It worked on FM. And what I did with Dave off video is I turned the 203 linear off, and the audio did pick up. It still wasn't as good as it should be, but it did pick up a little bit on sideband. So I'm just kind of wondering whether this is overdriving that little linear too much. It should take 20 watts, no problem, really. I think Gary set this to 18. So the last thing I'm going to do, and I'm a bit kind of, deflated really now, but the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to whip the back off and just see if I can turn the power, SSB power down, maybe knock it down to sort of about 15 watts or something. So I've got it down just to about 12 watts now. Let's give it a little blow on the mic. I can't whistle. Okay, that's it. That went a little bit higher. Okay, that is a little bit higher actually. Just give that another little adjustment. Right, I think I've got it about 11 watts peak now. It's about 11 watts peak. So I think we'll leave it at that, and then I'll do one more final radio check. So just waiting for Dave to come back on, bless him. Oh, God, I must be a pain in the arse to him. So as I say, we've got this turned down to 10 watts, and as far as I can make out, the power control on the front of the radio is actually working. Getting a bit confused now, but we're just going to try it on the 10 watts into the linear. We'll start off just on the basic 10 watts, and then we'll go into the 203.
Well, that sounds very good. A nice radio 5. £6 goes still at 7. Because they got the bars going up, and it peaks at 7 there. So that sounds very good, Fred. Straight out the back. How's the signal coming through now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. Yeah, it's peaking at about 7 there, and it's a radio 5 there, Fred.
That's not bad.
Yes, if you're using the KPO mic, it sounds. I think you're getting it about right, mate. So it's just a matter of just adjustment, yeah.
Oh, Roger, Dave, that's sounding a bit more encouraging. I'm just going to tweak the radio power up a little bit. Okay, I've just brought the radio power up a little bit more, so that's back up to about the 10 watt setting. How's that, David? Is my audio still clear, or has it started to distort? Over.
No, it's not distorting, Fred. That's about right, mate. It's you peak about 9 there. It obviously, when you pitch your voice, moves the needle, doesn't it, on sideband there? So it's peaking at 9 there, and it's a good modulation, Fred.
At the moment, everything's working great. So I'm going to bung this on the 305 net tomorrow, and then that'll be the.
Mate. Yeah, I can hear you there.
That'll be the real test. So Dave's still going on. That'll be the real test on it. And but yeah, so far so good. The old KPO mic there. I need to sort of make a note of the settings so I don't lose any of the settings. But fingers crossed. So I think what I might do is I might treat myself to a new set of patch leads, because these patch leads are getting a little bit old. and I have got a slight SWR problem, and I need to put a speed adjuster on the fan on the 203, and I need to, it goes on, doesn't it? It just never stops. That's radio. Anyway, this video has gone on far too long. If you stuck it to the very end, thank you very, very much. It was a bit of a trip. Anyway, cheers, thank you for watching. As always, I'll catch you all next one. Stay safe, look after each other, and yeah, bye for now.